Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly Go. I'm the co-founder of Our Chocolate. I might not be as young as Audrey, but I'm also pretty young. I'm 29. And I'm here to share about how fine cacao empowered communities in Davao. For those of you who don't know where Davao is, it's located on the southern part of the Philippines, where the current president is famously from. So just a little bit about Oro. So I co-founded and started this in 2015 with my best friend, Mark Ocampo. We had been abroad and we have both moved back to the Philippines with this vision of creating premium Filipino products, okay, particularly chocolate, made from sustainably sourced cacao. So really our mission, we were like on a treasure hunt when we first started, was to look for fine cacao in the Philippines. And since our launch in May 2017, I'm happy to share that we've seen tremendous growth both locally and internationally. We've even opened our first store in Tokyo, Japan, and received numerous awards in that time. So when we set out to look for this fine cacao in the Philippines, what we had discovered was an agricultural industry that has been in decline for decades. Unlike a lot of our ASEAN counterparts and neighbors who've really experienced a lot of growth in the past years, we used to be the first and the leader, but we are now very much behind a lot of our neighbors. And the startling thing for me was to discover that the average age of a Filipino farmer is 57 years old. Now, keep that number in mind when you think that the average age of a Filipino is 24. We really have almost, and I go to a lot of farms, almost no women in farming, actively farming, and also no young people. Agriculture in the Philippines employs 30% of the population, but of which a third of those are under the poverty line. So we really have stagnant growth and low productivity plaguing the Philippines. And then specifically in cacao, we also have a lot of our own problems related to this. And this really can be summed up to three things, like low prices, not making cacao an attractive commodity for farmers, very limited knowledge and technology. We were not even producing basic cacao, let alone fine cacao. So maybe those of you are asking, what in the world is fine cacao to begin with? So for me, it's like most of the chocolate you can find in the supermarket is like your 3-in-1 coffee. Whereas fine cacao is like that special coffee that you can find in a third wave cafe. So we're kind of somewhere more on the premium side, but when we started in the Philippines, we didn't even have the capability to produce the cacao version of 3-in-1 coffee. There was no segregation, no knowledge what were the different cacao varieties to begin with, and farmers really didn't have access to the market and thus had very low income. But what we also discovered was, we have a really rich tradition and heritage when it relates to cacao. Not a lot of people know, not even a lot of Filipinos know, that we've actually had cacao in the Philippines for over 300 years, and we're the first country in Asia to have cacao. Thanks to our Spanish colonizers. We got it via the galleon trade from Acapulco, Mexico. And in the Philippines, to this day, we have a lot of heirloom or older and treasured cacao varieties, as well as a very rich tradition of tablea. Has anyone heard or tried tablea before? Anyone who's been to the Philippines? I see like a couple hands, or in the Filipinos. So tablea, or what we call is this tradition of creating drinking hot chocolate. And it used to be that every household in the Philippines would have a cacao tree in their backyard and would make tablea themselves at home. Now this tradition is slowly, unfortunately, disappearing, but we still have it. So in order to combat these problems that we had seen, we had implemented a myriad of different solutions. So firstly was really education. As I said, farmers had very limited knowledge and infrastructure. So what we sought out to do was to hold regular seminars on teaching farmers international quality standards that relate to cacao, agriculture, and not just go do a workshop once in a while. We really went there and did hands-on training. I have a team in Davao that does this year-round. And we focus a lot on fermentation. People also know cacao is a great product because it's fermented and it gets all of its good flavors from there. Secondly, we also guarantee higher income through a unique pricing structure that we had developed. So in a nutshell, this just says that the higher the quality of your cacao, you get a significant premium above world market price from 20 up to 100%. We guarantee their market up to 10 years. This way they can even think about the future, which was a luxury to them. We empower them by allowing them to really think. It's a huge shift in mindset to think of your farm as a business. So we give them a lot of financial literacy classes and such. And most importantly, we create fine Filipino chocolate at home. We do the value adding at home. This gives them, this inspires them and gives them security and knows that we will be there no matter what. And we had also the advantage of setting up a state-of-the-art factory. This is in the north of the Philippines in Laguna. So in cacao, there has not been much advancement in technology. Most of the technology being developed a century ago, so we didn't feel the need to necessarily reinvent the wheel. We just needed to bring the wheel developed in Europe to the Philippines. And that's what we have done. And one of our slogans in our company is heritage meets innovation. We already have the heritage. What we're really just lacking was the innovation part. So through this and the kind of programs we've developed, we are able to work now with 10 cooperatives, 80 individual farmers representing over 1,000 families and 2,000 hectares of farmland. And from 60,000 pesos a year per hectare, that's what they were making, about $1,200, they are now able to increase their income by 300% to 200,000 pesos per hectare. That's huge increase. A lot of the farmers that we support have been able to send their kids to school. Connecting to Audrey, they've even able to buy a first computer. They might not have Wi-Fi yet, but at least they have the computer. So these are the kinds of changes that we are seeing. And with the best cacao that we get every year, we also have what we call a reserve collection, where we produce special chocolate, so fine cacao, coming from single estates. So the approach of this is very similar to wine. So you can see on the packaging there, it shows even the year of harvest and the name of the village. And these are all award-winning bars for us. These are from various villages from the southern part of the Philippines, two from Davao, Tupi is in South Cotabato. And I'd like to share a little bit more about Pakibato with you. So Pakibato is actually known as a very dangerous place. Even people in Davao, most of them have never been to Pakibato. They have really have for decades a very bad peace and order situation. But our team decided to go there because one of our managers had the foresight that actually this community has really amazing people and also really special cacao. So what we've done is we elected one, in a lot in agriculture, and especially in the Philippines, to see is really to believe. A lot of farmers feel really jaded and reluctant to trust somebody new. So instead of getting the whole community and forcing them to work with us, what we did was let's just pick one champion farmer, work with him, and see what happens. So that's what we did. We chose Mang Jose. Mang is what we call, it's like a term of endearment for Mr. Mang Jose Saguban, seen in this picture. And we worked with him and his family from a very simple, as you can see, very simple farm. And through the work that we've done together, I'm also happy to announce that Mang Jose was actually, his cacao was chosen as the top 50 best in the Philippines, and this is in the world, sorry. And this is the most prestigious global competition for cacao. Out of the top 50, they'll be awarding the top 12, and this will be in Paris this year. And we're even worried because he doesn't have a birth certificate nor a passport, but we're really hoping that he can be with us in Paris. And his story serves as such a huge inspiration to others that if someone like Mang Jose from a rural village can make it to the global stage, then any Filipino farmer can do so as well. And the transformation in Pakibato in this one community is astounding. From 2009, this place, these are the headlines I took, was called a virtual garrison because it was almost impenetrable. People were not able to move around. There really was a huge security problem. To this year in 2019, this headline was just a few weeks ago, where it says that there's zero violence in Pakibato in a year. And Cacao is not the only reason that had solved all of the peace and order issues in this country, but it definitely played a minor role. So those are the kinds of, I think that there are so many problems that we might face in agriculture, but at least our role and what I see is the challenge is how to give farmers dignity, and to do that it's not just about financial incentive, it's also giving them visibility. These are farmers who might not have the public platform to share their stories, share their unique produce, and I think our role is to give them that space. And with that, I'd like to finish just with allowing Mang Jose to share his experience in his own words. Thank you.